Time is now 5:48, and it's time to talk about your money here on Good Morning Quad Cities. First, let's take a look at the weekly stock market recap. The S&P fell 8.59 points. And the NASDAQ down almost 190 points, and the Dow Jones fell almost 78 points. Wow. Goodness. Joining us now is our financial expert, Mark Grabashewski from the Quad Cities Investment Group. Now, on Friday, the Department of Labor released its latest monthly employment report, which gave Wall Street the latest insight on the state of the health of the U.S. labor market. In April, the economy added 428,000 new jobs, while the national unemployment rate remained at 3.6%. Now, after going through April's employment report, what are your overall thoughts on the labor market?
The labor market is, look, it's far from perfect, but it is one of those parts of the economy that continues to do fairly well. We continue to see solid, steady job growth. As you just mentioned, in April, the economy added 428,000 new jobs, above the 400,000 that Wall Street had forecast. We've seen this gradual decline in the national unemployment rate. In April, the unemployment rate did hold steady at 3.6%. That said, though, there are a number of issues with the labor market that Wall Street has significant concerns about.
Now, what about the ongoing labor shortage? How does this tie into the state of the labor market?
One of the biggest challenges within the U.S. labor market is getting people to, return to the labor force from this pandemic. If you remember, back in March and April of 2020, the labor market lost 22 million jobs as all of these COVID mandates literally shut down entire sections of the U.S. economy. But here we are, exactly 2 years later, and we've yet to recapture 1.2 million of those lost jobs. Now let's take a look at the number of unfilled job openings. There's currently an all-time record high 11.6 million unfilled job openings across the nation. This number here is 65% higher than it was before the pandemic back in February in 2020. And this number translates to 1.9 available job openings for every unemployed person in the country. And finally, I want to look at the labor participation rate here, which shows the percentage of Americans that are either working or actively looking for work. The labor participation rate in this nation is at a 45-year low. And this number means that we have millions of Americans that were once working, are no longer working, and more importantly, Linda, are no longer looking for work.
Now, last Tuesday, the Department of Labor reported an all-time high of 4.5 million workers quitting their jobs in March. Why are we seeing so many workers quitting?
It all, again, ties back to this 45-year low labor participation rate. Because employers are still struggling to find quality workers. They're often forced to offer these incentives and bonuses to attract workers. But what employers are saying is that workers are often jumping from one job to the next simply to capture these incentives and bonuses. But even for worker, these now higher wages are still not keeping up with inflation, and they're certainly not keeping up with these rising prices we're seeing.
Wow, so the Great Resignation continues, is what you're saying.
The Great Resignation certainly continues.
All right, Mark, thanks so much for your time, as always, and happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend.
Happy Monday to you as well. Always great to be here.